Hey everybody, welcome to the 22nd episode of the Sales Call Overhaul. I am one of your co-hosts, Jeremy Pope, and this is your other co-host,
Jason Hanson, all the time.
Yes, also my co-founder here at The Closing Engine. Our guest today is Jason Hanson, who is a former CIA operative, spy. What do you like to call yourself, Jason?
Former CIA officer, to keep it easy and simple.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well, I like easy and simple, even if I'm not very good at it. All right. So thanks for being with us today, Jason. I'm going to tell a little bit about what we do on this show a lot of times, and then we'll get right into the interview. Next week, our guest is copywriter Joey Persia. Let us know who you want to hear as a guest. We are interested, and thank you for your suggestions so far. We appreciate those greatly, and we love meeting these folks. We get to meet the most interesting folks just from doing interviews, and it's a blast, so thank you. If you want to submit your sales calls to be overhauled with our $1,100 giveaway, then all you have to do is message our Facebook page at facebook.com/salescalloverhaul. It'll give you the option to upload your sales calls, and you can win the $1,100 Sales Call Overhaul package. And so let us know if you want to do that. Just message us, and we will get right into it. Jason, take us away.
Okay, I want to be called Other Jason for the duration of this show. All right, I find that's much easier. So Jason Hanson here is. It's really cool to meet you because I bought your Spy Escape and Evasion course through an affiliate link years ago. And I thought, wow, great value. This is really cool. It's just got to think it's up my alley, right? And then I saw you on Shark Tank, and I know this guy. I've seen this guy, right? And then so you got on Shark Tank. You had a successful pitch. You worked with Daymond John. I believe you got a deal for $150,000 for 45%, and you created a thing called Spy Ranch. You've got that course. You've got something else called Celebrity Method, which we'll be talking about today. And I believe you got some royalty agreements for products in addition to Spy Ranch out there, right? Flashlight and that kind of thing, right? And so I'm sure our listeners would be very interested in all of those revenue sources. Now, I'd like to begin with, I was going to begin with, hey, when you heard you were going to be on Shark Tank, what did you do? But just talking with you a little bit before the show, you mentioned that with the Celebrity Method that you use, you had actually created a television persona and appearances beforehand. So what did you do? What could you share with our listeners that would be helpful, or viewers that would be helpful for them in creating your own authority, right? And that catapulted you to get onto Shark Tank.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'll give you the short version is, you and I know we live in a celebrity obsessed culture. So whatever you see on TV, you're like, oh my gosh, that's the guy who grooms dogs and he was on TV. I want him to groom my dog, or, that's the doctor. So obviously I wanted to build that celebrity branding, and it's cheap because publicity is free. You don't have to pay a ton for it. So I never could have afforded at the time the publicity from Shark Tank or some of the early shows I went on. So what I did was I have a process, as you said, the Celebrity Method, where very step by step, and it's easy to get on TV. And you always start with local shows. So, don't try and get on Good Morning America right off the bat.
Right. Start
with small cities. So you don't want to, I've been on Good Day LA and Good Morning San Diego. Those are big markets. Start with Good Morning Arizona, middle of nowhere that 2 people watch, or, somewhere in Wyoming or Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got to have a jaw-dropping pitch. Like, what is so cool that you do? Mm-hmm. And I coach a lot of clients, and there's nobody I've ever met who we couldn't figure out something. So,
okay, this is a big question for me.
Yep.
Because I believe that we're in a relatively boring industry for mass media. Mm-hmm. And I mean, our clients, when they get it, they get it. But the general public, I don't really see an angle for that. And I believe a lot of our clients would believe the same.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of a super boring industry, accountants, right?
Okay.
Like, who wants to be an accountant? Nobody. So how can you make yourself, famous in your local area? That way you're getting the accounting business. Mm-hmm. And again, when we put together these presentations, because Local TV is about 4 minutes long. So you have a short amount of time to pack in a lot of value. But with an accountant, your pitch may be, I'm going to share you the top 10 tax saving tips. That's boring, but that's the information you're going to share. You need to go out there and wow them while you're doing that. Well, you can go out with a huge stack of money and throw it up in the air before you give it. That draws attention. Or you've been to carnivals and you see those money booths where they go in the booth and the money's blowing up all over and you have to try and catch it.
Right.
So accountant brings one of those money booths in the TV station. They let one of the hosts go in there and see how much money you can catch. Everybody loves seeing people look all goofy trying to catch money. And then, hey, you caught $500. Well, guess what? My top 10 tips is going to save you $5,000 over the next year, 10 times that.
Okay.
So TV is very visual. You've got to share your quality information, but make it exciting because you can't put them to sleep. So, again, there's always something you can do, even with boring accountants.
So yeah, you could put that together with any industry you wanted, just as long as you can manufacture a connection between your stunt and your industry, then you're good to go. That's cool.
That's 100% right. And I mean, it takes time. It's not like something that happens in 1 minute. So I spend hours with people coming up with their perfect 4-minute segment.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That sounds a lot like what a lot of marketers and copywriters do about developing the client avatar and stuff like that. That initial very deep dive sort of thing. Cool.
Don't be afraid to look silly too. Is a takeaway.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I like that.
TV is entertaining. So in a bunch of my TV appearances, I'm always having fun. We're not making it super serious because if people aren't entertained, nobody cares.
Right.
And you don't think that hurts your image as a cool spy?
No, because it's not. I mean, there's a fine line. Obviously, I don't make myself like ridiculous and lose credibility, but I'm having fun. Like I'll pull out our stun gun and zap it, and it's a very scared, loud noise. And people jump and laugh and get back, and I laugh because I just scared them with it. So, kind of fun stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Cool. So you did a number of appearances, and then I guess you had to pitch to get on the show.
Well, I mean, this actually segs perfect to what you just asked about copywriting.
Okay.
So I'm a copywriter. I used to write for Agora. Now I just, mostly write for coaching clients. But I wrote some copy. Actually, probably the affiliate page you saw where you first bought my course, I wrote that sales letter and I sent it in to Shark Tank. So I sent them about a 20-page sales letter saying, here's this incredible course and training I do. It would be incredible for, a pitch on Shark Tank. It's very visual. I can show them how to escape duct tape on TV. So you can think a long form 20-page sales letter for, helping me get on Shark Tank.
That's awesome.
I did not know that about you.
TV producers have time to read? Again, it comes back to there's no such thing as copy that's too long, only too boring.
Exactly. You're 100% right.
That's cool.
So I guess they call you or they message you and say, hey, you're going to be on. Here's your time slot, or?
Well, actually, so what happened is, I sent this package in, I sent my 20-page sales letter in and all this stuff, sent them, hey, here, go see me on TV. Go see all my past appearances. Go see my website demos. And I sent it in and I totally forgot about it. So, it was probably 4 months later that I get an email and they're like, hey, we're interested in you. Can you send us more information? So they wanted me to send kind of a mini pitch demo video that what I would do on TV, what I would do during the Shark Tank pitch. So, I recorded maybe a 5-minute video, sent them a little more information they asked for. And then again, I don't hear from them forever and I totally forget about it. Then they come back and they say, hey, we want you on the show. Now fill out 10,000 pages of paperwork. So it was brutal, but it was, it was a long process to actually get on the show.
And fortunately, you'd build up that foundation beforehand of what am I going to do and the presentation skills and knowing how to be entertaining on TV. So that must have helped.
Yeah, I had everything in place. So it's not like I was scrambling. I mean, I already had an established business. I'd already been on TV with pitches I knew worked. So, it was long and painful, but I already had all the stuff to give them.
This is interesting to me because in Celebrity Method, well, your website, celebrity.com, that's how people can get there. But with the Celebrity Method, I am assuming that you show people exactly how to measure if something's working and when it's working, and here's why and here's why not. What kind of measure do you have for did this appearance work or not?
Yeah, as a direct marketer, you got to track everything. We know that. So when you go on local TV, often they'll let you give out a URL. So, hey, Jason, where can we buy your book? And then I give them my URL. Or, if I'm selling a tactical pen that day, because every time I go on TV, it is to sell something. That is the purpose, is to make money.
Okay.
So I give out a URL. Now, of course, I give them out a unique URL so I can see, hey, this TV appearance moved 500 books. This one moved 500 tactical pens. On national TV, you cannot give out URLs. Right. So if I do a Fox and Friends or a Rachel Ray or some type of show, I'm going to have to use my baseline, meaning I know on an average day, I move 200 books. And after my appearance on Rachel Ray, I move 2,000. So 1,800 of those are because of it.
This is another reason to have your foundations in place well before you try and go big.
Exactly.
So it works
to fulfill all
National TV is not an exact science, since you can't give out URLs.
Right.
So we know that Shark Tank appearances are highly edited down, right? They go on for a heck of a lot longer than what we see on TV.
I was stunned to learn that, actually. I mean, it made sense, but I was really disappointed I wasn't seeing more behind the scenes stuff at first.
So what didn't we see that might be interesting to our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. So you're in the tank for everybody's different, but I was in there for 55 minutes.
Okay.
So they take 55 minutes and boil it down to about 8 minutes or so.
Right.
And, during that time, you have flashes of brilliance. During that time, you're getting eaten alive and you're not so brilliant. So that was probably the thing. When I knew they were going to boil it down, I was like, what are they going to show? Are you going to show the great stuff? Or are they going to show me looking like an idiot the whole time? And, it was a mixture, but it turned out very well for me. And one of the funny things is like, I did some of my demos, and when I did it in real life, they were like, whoa, that's amazing. And when the editing came back, I do some of the demos, and they, for some reason, spliced in, instead of having a great reaction, they'd be sitting like this, bored out of their mind. And I was like, that's not the reaction they had when I showed it.
So there's a really strong narrative that the editors are going for.
Yes, yeah. So they do, they do a great job trying to tell the story of editing. But yeah, there is a lot that gets cut out because, again, I was in there for almost an hour.
Yeah.
I love how they changed the story. It's not surprising to hear that, but it's kind of frustrating. Right. Now, obviously, it turned out well, and Daymond made you an offer. I want to ask you about your CIA background, and I know Jeremy mentioned this before we got on the air today, and it was a great question. How did that background help you as a salesperson?
Yeah, so sales is everything. I was telling you and Jeremy before he got on, is I'm working on a new book called How to Sell Like a Spy, because spies are the world's best salesmen. As I said, the only difference is you sell vacuums, we sell treason, and treason's a lot harder to sell. Excuse me. So there's a cycle, as I choked to death now, there's a cycle called the SADR cycle, called spotting, assessing, developing, and recruiting. And I basically did the same thing preparing for Shark Tank. And that means doing my homework on every shark, reading every single book they'd ever written, watching every video clip they'd ever done, reading every article they'd ever written. I knew the sharks better than they knew themselves. Preparation. So I practiced my pitch literally over 1,000 times before I went on the show. And here's a very short, quick story I can tell you. I can't name the guy's name because he doesn't want me to name it. But I was watching a clip of Daymond, and he had a mentor who's very well known in the marketing world. And this mentor and I had tried to do something years ago, and he wrote me a very nice email. So this is something that got cut out of Shark Tank. But after, literally watching probably over 100 hours of footage on the sharks, I found this one little nugget. Well, I'm in the middle of my pitch, and I'm going again. I'm in there for almost an hour, and they're asking me about marketing questions, and so I start telling some marketing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's funny, Daymond. I know that one of your mentors in the marketing world is the famous so and so.
Right.
And I pull out of my suit the email he's written, and I say, it's just so funny. I know him, and here's an email he wrote to me. And so as soon as I do that, I see Daymond's eyes light up.
Yep.
And for about 10 seconds, it's short, he loses his facade of tough guy, and he's pitching me.
Uh-huh.
And then he goes back into being like, I'm hardcore Daymond, intimidating
right.
Daymond, which is, of course, what they do on the show.
Yep.
But I knew at that point I had a great chance because this guy was his mentor. He wrote me a glowing review. So if I had not done all my hard, deep research, I would have never found that nugget of information.
Yeah. So did you have? I often wonder with a lot of people who they kind of had in mind to do a deal with, and do the producers say, now you have to do a deal with anybody who offers you have to take it seriously, or are they more okay with you coming in with a very specific idea of one person you want to talk to, or did you encounter that at all?
So the producers actually, it's a real show. It's live. They don't give you any coaching that way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they don't tell you who to work with. They don't tell you anything.
Okay.
You can choose whoever you wanted. Now,
once you're on the show, that's
yeah. I mean, they try and make it as real as possible. I mean, there's only one take, so they tell you, like, once you go in there, there's no do-overs. This is your one opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went in, my eye was either on Robert or Daymond. Just after the research I'd done, I thought they would be the best fit for me.
Right.
So, that was my goal, to try and get one of them. But yeah, nobody tells you who to get or even talks about that at all.
Yeah. So you were pulling hard for the. I understand what you're talking about with the research. That's a lot deeper than I imagine most people going on Shark Tank would do about those sharks.
Yeah, but success in life is the deep research. It goes back to the CIA training too. Is the most successful people do the deepest research, put in the most effort. And it was funny. There's like a Shark Tank blog, and the week before I went on the show, everybody, they had aired the previous or the coming show, so everybody knew I was going to be on. And this guy said something like, "This is going to be a terrible pitch." This guy, and because I do escape and evasion, like, everybody's going to escape and evade this deal. And I thought it was clever and funny. But I had the odds against me because I wasn't a product, and products are where we get the majority of deals.
That's right.
At the time, I didn't have like $1 million in sales, and those guys get the majority. All the factors were against me, so I really had to do my homework.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. We have no laurels to rest on at this point, so dig in. Okay. Cool.
Now you had made sales. You made about 300,000, I think, to that point.
Yep. Yeah, right around there.
So you signed this deal with Daymond. I mean, what happens after that? Is there a vetting process, or come in and meet with the lawyers and an actual signing thing? Or
so there is a vetting process. They want to see your books and make sure you told the truth. And from what I've heard from talking to a bunch of people, like probably maybe 30% of deals actually close that are made.
Yeah.
Because what happens is entrepreneurs are obviously very enthusiastic and exciting. So they'll go on the show and be like, "We have $5 million in sales, and Walmart's going to put us, help us tomorrow." And then they go do the background research, and it's like, you've never talked to Walmart, and you have $5,000 in sales. So,
or even if it's not a lie, it's just, boy, that sure was best light stuff. Wow, right. You've got $5 million out there on uncollected credit, on bad debt, and you talked with somebody at Walmart one time, and now you're happy about it. Yeah.
So after the show, Daymond has a guy who meets with, and I turn over my books. He looks at everything, and he makes sure that everything is legit what you said on the show.
Okay. And I want our viewers to understand that, if you're going to make a high-ticket deal, there will be a vetting process unless the other party's insane.
Yeah.
They are going to bring in professionals, and you're going to have to prove what you've got here. Daymond is quoted as saying he wasn't totally turned on about having the idea of a training camp that clients had to travel to until he actually went to the ranch, right? I'd like to hear a little bit about what that experience was like having him there. Was that before or after you guys signed all the paperwork?
Yeah, so we have 320 acres, and we call it Spy Ranch. And we do the evasive driving training, the shooting training, all the stuff out there. And none of the sharks liked it. They thought it was a bad idea. But I will tell you, it is the second most profitable thing we have at the company. So, it's the second most profitable product. So it's paid for itself many times over.
What's the first most?
We have a monthly membership program.
Got it. Okay.
So they get a monthly membership newsletter, training video, and that is our most profitable thing. And the ranch training is the second most.
That makes sense.
But Daymond did come out there after we closed the deal. He had a lot of fun. It was a great day of training. Of course, he liked it at that point since it was bringing in a lot of money. It was the second most profitable thing he did or do.
That'll do the trick really fast.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So money motivated. What a surprise. Okay. Did he do anything unusual? Did he look around and poke into anything, or was he just, I'm here for the vanilla experience, give that to me?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously super busy, got a million things going on. So he did a quick look around, and then afterwards that day we went back to my house and discussed business. So he did want a high level view of what was going on.
Yeah. Okay. Daymond is always, I've been to one of his events. He's all about, I have a team, you're working with my team. I'm curious who on the team, and you don't have to name names, maybe a role or something if you don't want to, who stood out to you when you were working with them? How did that happen? How did that unfold? Sure.
So one of the things I did is I went to his office, which is in the Empire State Building, and that's where his FUBU headquarters is. And so at the time, it was a very small business. What do we have, like 2 employees maybe, something like that. So we're tiny. Yeah. And so when I went and met with Daymond, he has like a licensing person. He has a publicity person. He has a manufacturer. I mean, he's got like 10 different people. So that was obviously very helpful because I didn't have any of those people. So, hey, if you want to know about social media, contact George. If you want to know about licensing, contact Mary. So that was, he had a little people in place that, again, I didn't have.
So you get in there, and now you're in the Daymond organization, right? And that allows you access to these specialists who can help you. A lot of the things on Shark Tank, the value that I see sharks bringing is access to distribution channels, right? They plug you in and they give you some funding to get you out and the reach out and traffic coming in and that. Is that what they mostly concentrated on for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly, it was marketing, a lot of stuff like, here's what you need to know for this and this and this. So it was like a lot of networking.
Okay.
Also speeches. Hey, we need this, we know we can get you in to do a speech here. So that was the benefit to me is obviously I don't have the connections that Daymond did. Right. And, he was able to introduce me to a lot of folks.
Okay. Is that like the biggest thing that you've gotten out of it as a business person? Is the networking?
Yeah, I'd say it was. I mean, there's nothing, I'm sitting here thinking, running my brain. So, my survival business, I know well, I know how to do it. And, these sharks come in. Daymond is obviously not an expert in the survival niche. He's an expert in other niches.
Right.
So, I knew I wasn't going to get that kind of stuff. It was pretty much getting, here's who I can introduce you to and get doors opened for.
I was wondering if this has changed you as a business person, the whole Shark Tank experience and doing the deal, or are you doing things pretty much the way you were beforehand, just with more connections?
I mean, business is running pretty much the same, just on a much bigger scale. But what Shark Tank did is before we were doing a lot of corporate work, a lot of high net worth individuals. So it opened us up to the masses. So now, now the next door neighbor knows about it. Now everybody knows about it. So that was the beauty of it. It just opened up the world to the number of people that we could train much, much bigger.
So as you've started scaling, what mental changes have you had to make in the way that you think about business?
Yes, scaling is a nightmare, as everybody knows who's grown very fast. I mean, it seems like all of us go through the same process of just like, you're freaking out. You're helping your shipping team stuff envelopes. Things are so busy. You're you're doing all that crazy stuff. Because I had one person say, you're growing too fast can obviously kill a company. I mean, you can do it. So I think the mental thing was just hiring the right people, doing all the typical stuff, making sure that I was stepping back and, not killing myself by working 20 hours a day and let more people take over more roles. So, we put systems in place like, okay, here's our customer service team. Here's our sales team. Here's our shipping and receiving. Here's our training. So, we had all the different divisions in place. And, that was kind of the mental thing, is putting in all those different divisions so everybody knew their role.
That's something we're really trying to address pretty hardcore in 2018 is roles and standard operating procedures, and making sure it all fits with the vision. And Emson, our producer, has turned us on to the idea of OKRs, the objectives and key roles or key responsibilities. I never can remember what the R stands for. Results. That's what it was. I still can't remember, apparently. But that has really started to change our thinking and make us realize, oh, okay, it's not that there's something broken in this part of a business model. It's we need an extra person here. And it's starting to make that clear when it's a personnel issue and when it's a model issue. That's been a very interesting difference to me in noticing the mistakes in my own thinking in business. But that's been super fun. There's lots and lots of fun.
Yeah, I mean, no entrepreneur in the world likes making standard operating procedures. That kind of stuff like bores us to death. But I mean, it's so important. And luckily, I have them in place now. If somebody gets hit by a bus tomorrow, I can say, read this, start in shipping or start in customer service. Yeah. So we have that now. But there was, a period when we were just dying, when we couldn't hire fast enough, when we were, we were scaling too fast. And hey, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. And you had some warning before the big appearance of Shark Tank, because you've done a lot of publicity before.
Yep.
Tell us a little more about the celebrity method, about how when you get someone, hopefully you can still hear me, when you get someone who is interested, like the marketing has worked, either paid or publicity related, they're in touch with you, and now you're in more of the sales process than the marketing process. What difference does celebrity and authority make once you get into that sales process?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. It's everything.
Okay. That's a strong statement.
Yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, we're in a celebrity-obsessed culture. So I've been on dozens and dozens of TV shows. Very, very fortunate. And, of course, that's all over my website. It's just part of my branding. So I don't have to sell as hard. So, for instance, my celebrity method business is teaching people how to get on TV. Right. So they can go to my website and see the dozens of TV appearances. So I don't have to sell hard because I've done it and very few people have. It is, like I said, it's the greatest niche in the world because I could never afford what it cost me to go on Rachel Ray or Shark Tank or Fox and Friends. I could not afford those TV commercials. But I've gotten millions of dollars worth of publicity, which has helped me build a multi-million-dollar company. Yeah. So, the world, unfortunately, is not going to slow down, and people aren't going to be like, you know what, I don't want to use the internet anymore. I don't care about famous people anymore. Right. I mean, I'm not I go to Yahoo a lot to get my news. I don't know why. I just like the Yahoo homepage. But that wedding between Prince Harry and Meghan, whatever her name is, it's on there all the time. Okay. And I don't even know when they're getting married. But whenever it is, for the next several months, that's all we're going to hear about is this wedding because, people care about celebrities and famous people. So, what I tell people is you don't have to be a real celebrity, meaning I'm not a real celebrity, but I'm a celebrity in the survival niche.
A micro celebrity. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can be a celebrity in the gardening niche or in the tax accounting niche, whatever. But if you are, it makes help closing a sale much more because this is the blessing of it. I get so many clients, you get to turn them down. I'm not desperate. I'm not knocking on doors begging for people. Right.
That's cool. Okay. That makes a difference even when you have other salespeople on the phone. It's not just when you talk to somebody, it's when then in general.
Right. And you're 100% right. I mean, I don't even, unless it's a very high-end client, I don't even
Mm-hmm.
talk to people these days. I never get on the phone. So,
Right.
My salespeople do all the closing, and yeah, their job is done for them because I've already built up all the credibility, all the proof.
That's the way it ought to be right there. So we talked a bit before about industry, how to spice the boring industry. So figuring out the right. Did we talk about this on the air, or was this before we started? I don't remember about the accounting and the cash blowing machine.
Yeah, we talked about that on the air.
That was thank you. Okay.
Yep.
So with that kind of stuff, the other part of that to me is, can I even get to my audience with television appearances? I think a lot of our more business to business clients and prospects may be interested in that issue. What would be something that you would consider almost too niche for TV appearances to be useful for? Is there such a thing?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, again, I'm in the survival niche, which is a pretty small, narrow niche.
But it's consumer. It's consumer.
Right, but it is consumer.
So somebody who makes controls for boilers for a boiler company.
Great. So
is that going to be useful to them?
Well, if they go on, let's just say Fox Channel 5 in Timbuktu, Louisiana, right?
Uh-huh.
If they go on that station, probably not going to sell a lot or anything from that appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But when they take that appearance and put it on their website, and somebody goes to their website, they're like, "Whoa, that guy's been on TV. My guy I want to buy from the guy who's been on TV." That's what you do with those stuff.
Okay, so it's a highly effective adjunct to whatever marketing that you're doing to get to your niche audience. You can just leverage the appearances that you've done. Okay.
Right, because it can be anything. I mean, think about it. When you go to a website yourself,
Mm-hmm.
if you were looking for a fitness trainer or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you saw your fitness trainer on the local morning news show, you'd be like, wow, that's cool. Okay, they must be good. I want to hire that fitness trainer.
Okay.
So it's how we think. It's all human nature.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. I know I've enjoyed the very little bit of publicity that I did back when I was a hypnotist, but that was an easy business to get publicity for. Hypnosis is weird, and so it was a big draw there. But I've never really done it for the businesses I've had since because I didn't think it was possible. So that's cool. Thank you.
I mean, a lot of people sell to entrepreneurs, small businesses, right?
Yeah.
So in pretty much every city in this country, there's small businesses, they're entrepreneurs.
True.
So you can go do a segment that's going to help small businesses. And because everybody wants to support their local economy, that's an easy segment to do, an easy excuse to get on TV.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The website is celebritymethod.com. What can people expect when they go visit that site?
So if they go visit the site, the first thing they should do is get my free book.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get a copy. It's free. They just have to pay a small shipping charge. And the book takes them step by step by the process that I used. So I didn't have any help. I'm not like some super genius connected guy. I'll even admit, when I first started my business, I was making $20,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was broke. Now we're a multi-million-dollar company. But it's the exact steps I went through to get on TV, sell a lot to TV, and end up making or having a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah. Cool. And how much is this free book?
The free book is free. You have to pay $4.95 shipping and handling because I haven't been able to convince the post office to give me free postage.
Right. We see a lot of free plus shipping offers that are free book, $25 shipping and handling. And so this is I was excited to hear this is real actual shipping and handling charges. So
yes, $4.95 for shipping and handling. That's it.
Yeah. I like the ethics of that situation. That's good. With the business to business stuff and the small business kind of appearances, do you like the 10 tax tips kind of thing on a regular basis, or do you prefer going in weird directions? What do people seem to want?
So if you want to shoot fish in a barrel, my friend, I'm going to tell you the secret right now. It's what we already know about marketing, and that is targeting holidays. So I have been on TV right before Halloween to share 7 ways to keep kids safe during Halloween. Or I've been on TV before college starts. So how are you going to keep your college kids safe this year? Here are the tips to keep college students safe, or the self-defense items they should know. So events and holidays, Mother's Day. Here are the 5 personal protection gadgets every mother ought to carry to make sure she doesn't get harmed in a parking lot.
All right.
So because producers are always looking for that kind of stuff, and they're always looking for, new information, is pitch around holidays. And it's really, I don't like to say easy, but it's easy to get on TV that way.
It's practically using the ask method. You already know they're asking for it, and you don't have to survey them. They show you that's what they want.
Correct.
Well, thank you, Jason. What else do we have?
I'm just curious what new initiatives you've got and what your focus is now. I mean, you've got a business running, you're working on Celebrity Method. You've got the book coming out on selling like a spy. What else would you like to tell us?
So, I mean, I got my hands on like 1,000 different things like every entrepreneur does. So we got the Celebrity Method business, which is one of my businesses, teaching people how to get on TV. The other business is my survival business called Spy Escape and Evasion, and working on a new book for that. I'm working on a martial arts program to teach them what we call spy combatives, which is a combination of martial arts and the spy training. And so we're trying to get that in a bunch of martial arts studios around the country.
Interesting.
And then just opening up more training locations all over the United States. So a couple of things in the works. So then some reality TV stuff, but who knows when that junk ever works out. So working on a reality show.
Yeah. Very cool, man.
I like it. Well, I hope that people consider just picking up the course, the basic course. I mean, the idea of, levels of awareness, right? So many people are walking around with their phones in their face, right? Or if you do any traveling, a lot of the stuff that I got into was what if you're a wealthy looking or affluent looking guy and you go to Asia or something like that, right? Or a South American country. How do you make sure you don't get kidnapped or something like that, right? Well, how do you, set up your hotel room so that it's safe and if somebody's trying to get in or has been in it or something like that. So the video that stood out the most for me from your program, though, was locking people in the trunk of a car. and they literally do this, Jeremy. They practice getting untied and finding the lever.
You're the one that's been locked in. Got it. Okay.
Well, and then he gets his clients to do it. So and I think that's an amazing experience. I would not enjoy that at all, but I see the value of the experience because it'd be so hot and cramped, and it takes them 20 minutes or something like that, right?
Well, actually, here's a funny story. So we handcuff them, we put them in the trunk, and it's a great experience because they've got to use a bobby pin or a hair barrette to escape these handcuffs and get out of the trunk. Well, true story. We had a woman that was very claustrophobic. She was not going to do it, but she decided to do it. She was out of that trunk in 12 seconds. I'm not even kidding. Like she had the motivation and was obviously one of the fastest, one of the fastest people ever to escape. But yeah, she did it. She did a wonderful job.
That's fantastic.
That's motivation for you. One last question, I guess. I am curious from a sales perspective. You were mentioning you don't take sales calls, and you shouldn't be at this level, right? But you do have salespeople or customer service people. I'm curious what their process is. Are they following a script? What level are they at? Are they high level salespeople, or are they more script readers, or what's required?
Sure. So they're more high level. I mean, we give them a general script, but then they find their own, meaning they work off of it. They know the product so well. They've taken the courses. So, I mean, they're very, very good. I mean, they can answer any question. They can close them because, one of our products we're closing is a $5,000 product, which is obviously a lot of money. It's not, closing a $100 sale. So they are high level. They know every objection. They know, what to say, what to do. So they're very well trained.
I super enjoyed this. It was really, and again, I want to stress this, Jason. It was really interesting to hear about your copywriting background because I did not know that about you. And
well, thank you.
That's really neat that you were able to use that as well. So the website is celebritymethod.com. Also spyscapeandevasion.com.
Correct.
I would really, I mean, the book is $5, $4.95. I'm going to go get it myself. I really recommend people go and get that because it looks like the cheapest, easiest, quickest, most proven way to get publicity. But why not follow somebody who's clearly done it? And I want to recommend that everyone who's watching, if you record your sales calls, which you should, submit your sales call for our $1,100 sales call overhaul product. We will break that call down in a nice, friendly way and build it back up, tell you what you can do to change it, fix it, improve it. We've done a couple of these recently. Our last one was with our guest was Jim Padilla. You can go listen to that and hear exactly what it sounds like. The fellow who got that went out and immediately made improvements and started closing more, bigger, better, faster. It was very cool. And get in there to do that. To submit your call, just go to facebook.com/salescalloverhaul. Go into there and message our page, and it'll do the rest from there. And next week we've got Joey Persia as our guest, copywriter. That'll be very cool. And I want to thank Jason Hanson for being here today. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks, Jason.